Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix General 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Good, so in our stashes we also still have this delete buff thingy in here. I was wondering, maybe... Could maybe... in Visual Studio, there's tools, options. Let's see. What's it called? Shit. Code analysis. Yeah. Native. Lifetime rules. Owner pointer rules. Raw pointer rules. Okay, well, that's not good. Basically, I wonder what rule set is this new delete mismatch. Which rule set is it? I don't know. Could be the raw pointer rules. Lifetime rules. Let me take this guy. And actually we need to run it on GameEngine, right? Actually, can we do it on solution level? Properties? No. So GameEngine, code analysis. And then we do raw pointer rules. Apply, okay. And then we do analyze. Run code analysis. Let's see. Yeah, let's have it run through. Let's see what it does. Okay, good. Then, yeah, we need to wait for that. Maybe in the meantime, we can already take a look at a few things. Let's search for delete. Nothing. Okay, it's complaining about uninitialized stuff. Yeah, but we don't want to look into that yet, I think. Dereferencing null pointer. Huh, well, that's in GameSpy though. Using uninitialized buffer. Oof. Oof. Using uninitialized buffer. Yeah. Okay. It seems there's quite a bit of junk in GameSpy. Unannotated fall through. Huh. Okay, maybe that's intended. Okay, this one looks interesting. Using uninitialized memory. Okay. argv free. argv current pos. What? argv current pos +1. Okay. Okay, I don't know about this. Using uninitialized memory. It's not awfully clear. How does it come to that conclusion? I don't know how it comes to that. It makes no sense. How would it know? I don't know. Is this function ever called anywhere? No. Buffer overrun. Okay. That one looks serious enough. Is that being called? Maybe. Buffer overrun. Oof. Okay. SC front count times 4. Okay. So this front count poly count. So essentially we would have to assert that the poly count is smaller than these here. Okay, there are some asserts placed here. It doesn't look very robust, but it's not immediately concerning. As long as the caller like gives us the correct numbers here, then it will probably work. But yeah, it looks really fishy. Dereferencing null pointer. What kind of types do we have there? Only these three. Else if. Um, I would say the easiest here would be if text, then this, and this. Yeah, this avoids the trouble. Can do that. Okay, let's see if we find anything else. Buffer overrun. I think Dazzle is not used by the game, so maybe we don't care. But let's see how complicated this is. Types. What is types? It's a static. This should be iterating new count, right? No, new types. Type count. It's also static. So it copies the old data. But this assumes that this one is not larger than this one. But it could be larger, right? It could be larger. So I think we have to do a max count. Let me copy this line here. Max count. Max. New count. No, min count. Min. Let's say copy count. How about that? Copy count. There we go. Then we put the copy count here. And then the new count is then nulled if there's any left over. I think this will work. And here's the same problem. Unsigned, copy count, min, transfer counts, new counts. That should work. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. This one maybe. Dereferencing null pointer. Vertex buffers. Contains the same null value as VBA vertex buffer did. Dereferencing null pointer. If okay, so it claims that this one could be null. This vertex buffer could be null. Yeah, maybe. Right, so the problem is that here in the ref PTR set, we check if the source is not null, then we add ref, right? Yeah. So so we should probably null check this. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, what do we have here? The prior call to SCN copy might not zero terminate. Oof. Oh. Right. I think for this we need a separate fixing pass and replace it with strl copy, which is safer. Yeah, I would skip this for now here. Dereferencing null pointer. Oh. Oh. Because str is not guaranteed to return. It could return null. Yeah. 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 This one we should fix. So I think that's the easy fix. We simply do if ext and strlen ext equals 4. Ext could be null. Okay. Yeah, I think fixing some of these is probably a good idea, just to raise stability just a tiny bit, although they are likely not critical issues, just minor hypotheticals, right? Reading invalid data. Oof. Okay. Lot count +1. Temp lots, temp lots, delete lot, temp lots. Index +1. Looks like it shifts it, or what is it there? Reading invalid data from temp lots. But it does allocate lot count +1. So it can go here. It looks like this would be valid. New array. Right now I'm not seeing the problem here. It looks like it's okay, but I'm not sure. Reading invalid data from temp lots. The readable size is unsigned. What is the problem here? I don't see it. Resize the lot array. Temp lots is lot count +1. Here we iterate index from 0 to below lot count. And so indexing this +1 is perfectly legal, right? I don't understand. What is the problem? Reading invalid data. Reading invalid data. What, where, why, what, how? Templots, index +1. Okay, I think I have to ask ChatGPT. I have no idea what the problem is. I don't know if the snippet will be enough. Given this C++ code and error, can you see the error? This C++ snippet and error and error message. Can you see the error? So here is the C++ code and here is the error. Code and function error. The compiler warning is pointing to a potential buffer overrun. You're reading or writing beyond. How? You allocated an array of size lot count +1, yeah. Then in the loop you access where index ranges from 0 to lot count -1. Yeah. So at the end of the loop, index +1 is lot count, which is fair. Therefore, you write to temp lots 1 through, yeah. That is lot count element starting at index 1, yeah. The last write is to lot count, which is the last valid index, yeah. So is the warning wrong? No. The warning likely appears because you are not initialized temp lot 0. Huh? And static analysis assumes you might read from it later. Well, it's a model array class, so the first element simply will be a default initialized class. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's a problem. Okay, you're not overrunning the buffer as written, but static analysis sees that you're skipping temp lot 0, which may be a bug. Adjusting the loop in intent, inserting at front versus end should clear the warning. Okay, but that's not what the warning is. That's... Nah. Maybe, but... Then I would expect a different kind of warning, right? Or no warning, or like... Reading invalid data. I don't get it. Maybe it's just nothing. Okay, let's skip. I have no clue. Let's see this one here. Yeah. String list. Count. If count equals 0. What? Here it says count. Oh, it's a count to 0. Okay. Okay, count plus. Uh-huh. It looks suspicious, yeah. But it's not awfully obvious how to fix that. Shit. I'm not sure. It looks like that the count could count 0, count. Okay, so no, count can only be 0 here, right? So no, count is larger than, okay. So count at least is 1, right? Here. So the string, this array is at least 1 element long, the string list here. At least one element. Then count is set to 0, count remains 0, count still is 0. So this looks like it's okay. I don't understand. I don't understand what the problem here is. Let's move on. Maybe someone else can figure this. Here's another one. Is degenerate. Yeah, I do feel like degenerate. Alloc face count. Okay. Okay, these are the same. Okay, why is it complaining here? Delete faces equals that. So face count is expected to be the same as this one, alloc face count. Same as this, or not. Okay, I have no clue why it's complaining here. It looks fine to me. I don't know. These errors are weird. Okay, deriving's in null pointer. Yeah, we have something different. Edge. Edge is null pointer. Okay. Let's see. Oof. Edge. If edge, found the edge. Else. Create new edge. This is zero initialize the edges. It does not. It does not initialize some of the guys here. Oof. $13.48 for an earlier location. 13.48. 13.48. So the problem I see is that this is not even zero initialized. So if P edges is not filled, then J, I, face count, face count. It's really not. It's not awfully obvious to me what the problem here is. Let's go ahead. This it's really a big function here with 1,000 loops. Not obvious. Oh man. Okay, so it allocates with array size, but then it does polygon count here. But it does the same here. Stage. Polygon. Oh, here's another one. So I assume that array size, that. Maybe we just need to iterate by array size and not by polygon count. Oh boy. Here's also polygon count. Polygon count. What the hell is this? I'm really confused here by the counts. What is going on? Jesus Christ. Buffer overrun. Material pass, array pass. I'm really confused that it allocates with array size, but then it iterates polygon count. It does it here as well, but here it doesn't complain. That's also weird. I would have expected that here it would complain the same way then. But it's not doing that. Polygon count. Yeah, it's doing the same. I don't know what the problem here is. I mean, it looks weird here with a polygon count, but I don't know if that is a mistake per se. It could be correct. It could be correct. Yeah. Oh. I don't know. Let's keep on going. Oh boy, more of this bullshit. Oh boy. No idea. Buffer overrun. Aha. So it allocates it with this count, but then it uses a different copy the key times. Yeah, so the problem is that these types are unrelated, these sizes. This one is not this one. Yeah. It's num key bigger than this. -1 keyframe count. -1 or 0. Okay, so this can be either one smaller than this or equal to this, okay? But then this is correct, right? It's because we're writing one less. I have no idea. I find these errors here seem to be really weird. Yeah. I will not touch that. If it ain't bugging, right? Using uninitialized memory. Okay, that looks interesting. Because log directs could fail here, right? I think that one is easy to fix. Here you can simply initialize it to 0, mirror, mirror. Yeah, it's a minor. That should fix it. Okay, dereferencing null pointer. Texture is null. Huh. Yeah, well, there's an assert, so that's fine. TC is not meant to be null pointer. Yeah. Yeah. This texture contains the same null value as TC did. Yeah, it's an assert, it's fine. Dereferencing null pointer. Okay, so this one can return null, yeah? Oh, it can, yeah. Okay. Are there more variants of this? Yeah. Yeah, it can return null, okay. Get sub-object on bone. FPTR release. I think here we need to check if P object is null, then continue. There we go. Let me copy that. Here we have this bullshit again. Screw that. Yeah, global alloc. Yeah, we expect that we can allocate, right? Yeah. Yeah. Incorrect operator, what? What does that mean? Incorrect operator. I have no idea. I have no idea. Incorrect operator. Oh, return. Oh. Okay, I see. Now that is wild. So it returns and assigns at the same time. Huh. Oof. What was the intent here? Was the intent to von der Seite? Ist das being, ja, it's in out, right? Yeah. I think what this does, it assigns to intersects and then returns this as well. So here assigns false and then it also returns false, right? That's my assumption here. Yeah. Incorrect operator. Let me ask ChatGPT what he would say. This code and error. What is the recommendation? Let's see what he says. Compiler suspects you use an assignment where you probably meant a comparison, or vice versa. Assigns true to that and then returns the result of the assignment, which is true. So technically it's valid, but unusual and error prone. The compiler wants that you may have meant equals true, but that would make sense inside a return unless you're testing its value. Splits the assignment return for clarity. Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. Or just leave it. It's not an error. Let's just leave it. It's just syntax. Yeah, it's not an error. That's fine. Let's leave it. Okay, dereferencing null pointer. Oof. Okay. Point size. I mean, as long as this it's the input, right? Point size. Yeah. Yeah, so it complains because here it tests for null, and then later it just uses it without testing for null. That's why there's this warning here. But I think we can just ignore this for now. Yeah. Same for point orientation, we just ignore it for another time. Using uninitialized memory. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, that should be easy fix. You simply say name 0. There we go. Done. Next. Buffer overrun. Oof. Orec vertex CT. Oh. Oof. Okay. Yeah. It's writing one past. Vertex count. So basically the expectation is that vertex count must be a multiple of 2. Which it seems to be. Yeah. So this probably works because he's a +2. Oh man, this static analyzer is not good. It's not seeing this. It's not seeing this right. To me, this looks safe because it comes in increments of 2. And it steps in 2. So it will step right over this. So index will never be vertex count -1. It will at most be vertex count -2. And then this one is not invalid. So I think this is not an error. I don't know how we can prevent this to not warn about some warnings. Okay, function uses 28,000 bytes. Oof. Oof. What is so big here? Render. What is so big? Oof. Oof. I see. Oof, more. Yeah, this function never ends, right? Jesus Christ. How long is this function? Oh, wow. This one never ends. Okay, there it goes. Oh, yeah, I think the problem why this function is so big is because it just does too many things. It should be split into smaller subfunctions that get called, and then each of them can have their like stack stuff, and then yeah, then this number would shrink. Is that a big problem? Nah, it's fine for now. Maybe. Buffer overrun. So the same story again. Okay, I'm actually not sure what's going on here. The loops here is completely decoupled from the indexing. I'm not sure. It could be wrong, it could be right, I don't know. Dereferencing null pointer. T. If T. Oh. Oh. I don't know what's going on here with the error string. It does nothing. I think the simplest fix would be to just move it down here. Yeah. Yeah. Let's copy that. Statistics. It looks like it's just debug, right? Should be straightforward. Okay. T. There's an assert for T. That's fine. Out. Oh, Jesus Christ. Out. Out is allocated. Uninitialized memory out. Okay, so it's allocated, but it does nothing. Oh. It's not clear to me if this is really wrong. It could be right. We could memset 0 it here, but I don't know. I will leave it. Okay, how about in GameEngine we also do the Microsoft's recombinant rules. Okay, so I fixed a few things. Yeah. Nothing too groundbreaking, I would say. Oops. Register CPP contains a statically defined ASCII string that appears to have memory issues. Static with ASCII strings causes a memory leak. Okay, well, that was actually faster than I expected. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a look at this stuff here. Yeah. Okay. Inconsistent annotation. Okay. Aha. What do we have here? It's annotation. Okay. Just a lot of uninitialized bullshit here. Aha. Using uninitialized memory delta. Okay. Delta, delta, delta. Right. I've seen this before. Let me copy this guy. Okay. Delta, delta. Data peak. Yeah, the thing is that these conditions are not the same anymore here. Hmm. 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 I think I know what the problem is. This assignment needs to be done afterwards. And we need to take this and this. Okay, let me try to get this right. So I think we need to check that and then put that here. And then this one goes here. And I think now that would work. Because it can only get here if this was also true. Yeah, this should work, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, it has lifted it. Actually, it would have worked before as well. Because data, new data, release data. New data, yeah. I hope I didn't change any logic now. Maybe, hold on. So before it only tested this and that. Assign new data, so it would not have tested the old one. New data peak, new data peak. Where's this being called? Let's see, where is this used? It's used in game logic. Well, it could be catastrophic, maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure. What does this do? mdata release, okay. Then it assigns new data. Okay, actually, hold on, this is wrong because mdata is set to 0 in here, so this would now always be false. That's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. Okay, let's revert to what it was before. Oof. Maybe we just initialize delta with 0. Oh man. I think we can just initialize it to 0. Yeah. I think it never really happens. It's probably that this guy is not null and this guy is not null. And then this neither. Yeah, I suspect it never ran into the scenario where it would use uninitialized memory. It's just a hypothetical. Yeah. But I'm not sure. Uncheck lower bounds. Oh. So the problem is that it doesn't check if this index is smaller than this size, right? So we should probably check if index is smaller than array size that, right? Oh, now it compares unchecked lower bound. It's to index larger equals 0. Index get static game. Let me see. Level 4. Custom. me see how how this guy is protected elsewhere. I wonder if this message still applies for this condition. I think we should do if index is smaller than 0 or larger equal array size, return null. There we go. I think that's the way. Dereferencing null pointer. What? Okay, I think what we do is we do this and this. Okay. Okay, what is this? Yeah, it's probably fine. Buff might not be 0 terminated. Okay. Okay. Buff 0 0. Okay. Uninitialized memory UL. Yeah. I'm not sure if we are allowed to return here in the middle of the parsing. Oh, skip it ahead for now. Dereferencing null pointer state. I think we already tracked the bug for this, right? So if state is null, state is null. This is weird, yeah. So the null check would have to be here, right? State equals null, and then this one can be a simple debug crash. We don't need the condition anymore. Just this. No. What does the generals function do? So I think we would have to do X for, I'm not sure, unsigned int and then default state ID. Maybe we do this here. If state is not null, then we do that. Else we do that. State was null on X for trying to hear. Yeah, I have no idea if that makes sense or not. But it definitely would have crashed before, so I guess it's a minor improvement. Okay, next. Dereferencing null pointer. Okay, this is weird. Something is going on here. This condition is weird, that it checks if all of these are met. Maybe it would have made more sense to check if not the template or is empty. Return true if the string is none. Not the template. Ah, okay. Actually, the condition kind of makes sense, yeah. So the upgrade is not an empty string. It's not none, and it was not found. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Then here we should say if the templates, then do that. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I think that's fine. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oof. Okay, that one looks suspicious. Hmm. Yeah. Control by scheme manager, preload assets. Yeah, that's a mistake. Clearly a mistake. Preload, it should preload this one. Are there more textures? Same. Right hat image. What about the other images here? These guys. Why not preload these guys? Mm. Hmm. Hmm. It doesn't pre-cache all textures. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, that's simple fix though. Using uninitialized memory window. Okay. Okay. Window. Go gadget list box. Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. I think that is simple enough. Just make it null. Good to go. Mm-hmm. This missing break labels that needs more inspection. Like is a fall through intended or not? It's not always obviously clear. The control bar. Yeah. Okay. So here it checks for the control bar, but it's in this block it does not. Yeah. That's a bit annoying. That is annoying, yeah. Maybe we just check for the control bar and the window manager, and then we're good to go. Yeah, because this switch control window. Register game window. Tactical view. Set heights. I would say the simplest check here is simply if the control bar and the window manager, then do that. Like this. Boom. And here, recalculated. We want to get everything recalculated. Yeah. Here we have another dereferencing null pointer. No, it just didn't update yet. Here we got another one. Okay. Control bar. Okay, let's do here instead the control bar. There we go. And then let's go back here once more. Mm. 598. I don't know if the order of this call makes any difference here. We should probably do if the control bar, then we do that, and here we do if the control bar, and that's, let's add a bit of spacing here. Man, this is hard to read because it's so dense here. Let's try like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. Uninitialized memory, added row. Added row. Uninitialized memory, added row. Right, so that's not. Ah, shit. What is the intent here? I'm not sure. What is supposed to happen if the slot is not easy AI or human? What happens then? If basically if it's empty, right? Empty or close or open, right? I don't understand. Oh, shit. Question is, should there anything, like, should it return, or like, what should it do if we don't have an added row? So if observer, game info window, game info, random. I wonder if this is only in GameSpy. Where is this used? LAN lobby. Okay. Okay. It is in the LAN lobby. What time is it? 2 hours. Yeah. Oof. It's quite something. Sim replay. Jesus Christ. This PR has the ability to simulate a replay via command line and check for crashes and mismatches. To simulate a replay, you must place it in a replay folder and call the game like this. The console output will be something like this. My first thinking is here, I don't agree with this command line argument name. I think the easiest would be just minus replay, and then you combine it with headless, right? So if you launch the game with just minus replay, then it just jumps straight into the replay with showing it to you. And if you put minus headless, minus replay, and then the replay, then it would run the replay in headless. I think that would be the minus jobs too. Oh boy, I have the impression that, like, since he has jobs here, that this is probably a huge review, because I suspect he just crammed everything in there. Let me see. Oh, 643. That's smaller than I expected. Okay. Okay. Workup process. What? Create shop objects. Oof. Oof. This looks super Windows specific. Why is this required? Why is this needed to be touched here? What? Okay. Why did he remove headless and added sim replay? What? Why was headless removed? Wouldn't it make more sense to have a minus headless minus replay, the replay, to simulate replay in headless, and then minus replay, the replay, to run replay with clients. Say without clients. To run replay. Why was headless removed? Wouldn't it make more sense to do? It looks like the desired would be good to be able to do headless replay, run the replay without clients, replay the replay to run the client, to run the replay with clients. Yeah. So I don't understand why this was removed. Like, they should be combinable. So you can have headless, and then you can have replay, or you can just do replay, and then it just loads this replay with the client, and here without the client, right? Yeah. I don't agree with this setup. It's too specific, I think. It's too specific. It would be good to have it more modular so that we can decide, okay, I want to see the replay, I don't want to see the replay. But this should just work independently of this, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. Because that will be the next question, like, okay, why can I not run this with seeing it, right? Why do I have to run it without seeing it, right? So I don't like that everything is just one setting. I mean, it's like probably okay for now, but it's inflexible, right? And it makes a feature more specific, right? It's typically good to build features in a way that they are more isolated and they just combine like building blocks that makes them easier, like then they become units on their own, right? So yeah, but if you just cramp everything into one feature, then it's just one thing, and then it's harder to reuse that sort of thing for other use cases, right? So yeah, I think this needs some additional thought. Yeah. Okay, but with the jobs, that's good. Yeah, to run it in multiples. I do wonder though. Simulate each replay in a separate process and use up to 2 end processes. In a separate process. Here my question is, in a separate process, use up to end process. Okay, we need to first understand. Like my first thought would be, okay, if it runs into separate processes, then why is this part of the game client? Why is this not just like a script that just runs for clients? Why is this part of the client that does it? That's weird. But okay, I would need to study the jobs first. Yeah. Sim replay list, write replay is headless. Exit code 1, okay. Okay, I think we study this in a future session. Yeah. Okay, well, it's a big effort. Yeah. Big effort. Cool. Uninitialized variable access that can occur when selecting an empty button on a building or vehicle that has a contain element. Empty button. Fix uninitialized variable to prevent object lookup with an incorrect ID when the container is empty. If the contain returns an object ID but the object is not found, remove the inventory entry and exit. What? GUI command exit container. Let me see it. This object ID. Why is this necessary? If it was invalid, then this one would return null. This looks wrong here to me, this check. This looks wrong because then it no longer goes in here and no longer sets these guys. Right? To me, it looks like the only thing necessary is setting this to invalid ID. Done. Done. Bam. Well, they did. Hold on, let me read that conversation again. This pull corrects an uninitialized variable access that can occur when selecting an empty button on a building or vehicle. If no match is made for the selected button against elements in the contain list, the object ID variable used to look up the correct object will be uninitialized, which could cause unexpected behavior if the value were to match a valid object. I don't understand. Why is this necessary? This means that is skipped. Yeah, I'm a bit suspicious of this. I don't understand the reasoning. If this is an issue, then explain how it manifests in the game. Like, how is it player facing? Let me clarify this. Can you explain what happens player facing that we do not want these things set? Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, invalid ID, fair enough. This one, big question mark. Yeah, let me comment that. I've removed the Queen's English and jankified it. Okay, good. Camera fix. Okay, let me add eyes here. Eyes. Good. Good. Kill all contains. Okay. But I don't want to disturb this checking here right now. I will take a break here. We'll work on this later. I did that, so I did that to remove the dx8 dependency. dx8 lib dependency. Although there's probably still something. Let's see, surface. No, I think it doesn't use any DirectX stuff here anymore. Then, yeah, it's only using the wrapper, dx8 wrapper. Okay, we'll do this later. We also need to fix. I think this one also needs a bit more work, right? There were some comments. Here. Okay, can do this another session. The step you mentioned is only valid for instances where an object ID is returned from the containers, but the object it relates to has already been destroyed. So object ID gets updated with something, but it doesn't link to any valid object anymore. It's meant as a cleanup step. So if no object is found, since the object does, then we always fall into the if step. What? Why is that invalid behavior? Why is that invalid behavior? What is the bug we see? I mean, it could be true, but I don't understand. Just from looking at the code, I don't understand why this would be invalid. Basically, if this, if okay, hold on. Let me look at this once more. Aha, it iterates through. Oof. Um, okay, what is weird is that here it uses I to set this. I wonder if this should also break. So if this goes and it finds something, control equals control. This needs more explanation. What exactly is wrong here? It looks weird. I agree with that. Okay, so this fix is clear. We initialize it. Good. Then let's say no control matches, right? So this one stays invalid, then it will now here break out freshly. I see, okay. I see. This loop, this loop plus this loop plus that looks strange. Since the top loop never breaks, that means I is always past, it's always I is always that. No? Yeah. This looks strange. Yeah. Yeah, it looks weird. It never breaks, so this is always invalid here. Yeah, so this logic still makes no sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that needs more looking at. Something is bonkers here. Yeah. Yeah. Don't visibly see a bug unless whatever the initialized object where it ends up being happens to coincide with a valid object ID. Only gets updated if the button you press coincides with a contain list slot that has an object within it, and the index ends up pointing to that last item, so we always end up updating the last contain slot if nothing is returned from the contain list. It's invalid because okay, I still don't understand. Somehow either this is too complicated to explain, or I'm too stupid to understand what this means. Yeah, I don't understand this explanation. And I see that the whole function looks kind of odd. It still looks odd, so I think this needs more looking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. I will take a break here. I wish you a great day or night. Until next time, goodbye.